You are listening to the IFH Podcast Network. For more amazing filmmaking and screenwriting podcasts, just go to ifhpodcastnetwork.com.
Just a heads up, this episode is brought to you by the Script Summit Screenplay Contest, where you can win a cash prize or even a contract with a Hollywood talent manager. All you have to do is visit scriptsummit.com for more info. All right, welcome to the Successful Screenwriter Podcast. On this episode, I am joined by a guest host as we analyze and break down a film to discover what works and what doesn't. I am your host, Geoffrey D. Calhoun, with story analyst and consultant at WeFixYourScript.com, Kristy Leigh Lussier.
Ah!
All right, so today we are going to analyze the Block Island sound. This was Kristy's pick.
Yes.
All right, you ready for the logline?
Yes.
Something lurks off the coast of Block Island, silently influencing the behavior of fisherman Tom Lynch. After suffering a series of violent outbursts, he unknowingly puts his family in grave danger. What'd you think?
No, I actually really liked this movie, but this is my jam.
Is it?
So it is. First off, I love horror or the supernatural feel of horror kind of stuff. And this was more of a psychological thriller.
Yeah.
But it did this great job of creating this really weird, unsettling, just uncomfortability from the start. And I love that.
I think you're right.
It carried through.
Yeah, I have thoughts. I think this was the deconstruction of a man throughout the whole film. And what I struggled with was nailing a theme. I had a hard time trying to what are we trying to say?
Yeah.
You know, because this film is about a guy that, his dad sleepwalks and we think he has dementia. It turns out that his dad is being controlled by some weird creature and is dragging things out to the sea and they're disappearing. So you think okay, sea creature, Cthulhu, something. He's feeding something in the depths.
Right.
So I really like that it leads you that way. And then there's the big twist, spoiler alert.
It's aliens. Yeah.
by looking at the poster, now I could see the poster's a dead giveaway.
Right. Yeah.
I never looked at the poster to really think of it. So I'm just watching and going, okay, yeah, obviously. But when you look at the poster, he's upside down. So you're thinking, okay, yeah, he's being dragged to the sky. Right. Now it all makes sense. But
yeah, for sure.
I still enjoyed the twist. And I finally figured out the theme. And part of it is they're talking about how his sister is works for a research lab and they study fish and they study the migrating fish and all these things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so then they tie that nicely in a bow at the end about how we're the fish and the aliens are just checking us out, right? So to me it feels very Lovecraftian. It feels very almost nihilistic of you don't realize how small and inconsequential you truly are in the universe. And so I think that's a nice check on the ego.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's perfect. That's a perfect really touch on what a theme would be essentially. Yeah.
They definitely weren't heavy-handed with it. It was very subtle. I mean, it hits only a few moments throughout the script, but I think in something like this, I guess it makes more sense. You don't need to go the Color of Space from it, where you're just beating somebody over the head about you're just a tiny human.
Yeah, yeah.
And now
exactly.
you're gonna melt. Yeah,
yeah.
So we don't have to do that. The thriller aspect was great because they really do keep you on edge. And what I found fascinating is that you never see the creature.
Yes, I love it. I'm such a huge fan of that. Less is more, always less is more when it comes to horror like this. But yeah, the less that you see the creature, or if you don't see the creature or the demon, it's scarier because the unknown is so scary for us as a human brain, a human function, that we can't see it and we can't touch it and we can't realize it. So that makes the fear worse.
Yeah, it's anxiety inducing, because the brain is a problem solver. Like it's a computer. Right. It wants to solve problems. And if you don't see the creature and you can't put your eye on it, you don't know what's going on. So internally you're kind of going crazy. And I talked to Philip Eisner. He was on the show. He did Event Horizon, and he had a great point about not showing the creature. And he said, if you show the creature too much, they might see the zipper. I was like, that is a great point. And I think in a film, interesting. Yeah, and I think in a film like this, it's a lower budget. They did a good job. Do we need to blow the entire budget on aliens in a spaceship and a fire out of sky moment? I don't think so.
No, I think it worked for, like you said, low budget. It worked for what the message that they were trying to convey in that way. Because the whole time, you're right. I'm like, is there something out there underneath the water, which is scary on its own. So we are just completely obsessed with this idea of like, yes, what's out in space and UFOs.
Right.
But what we really don't know is that there's probably scarier things under the water and in the ocean than there would be in space.
Well, they keep, discovering new species in deep water that we've never seen before, didn't even hear about. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy. What I think was really cool is that they kept focusing on the water to throw you off. So they did it visually, subtextually. So you go, oh, okay, there's a couple of water rippling, or there would be some B-roll footage of the lake or the ocean or anything like that, or even simple things like in his house, like a cup of coffee or beer, they kept focusing on it and kept just trying to mentally throw you off of the fact that it was aliens. And I thought it worked. I thought it was good. They're educating you in a certain way to twist. And I really did enjoy that. And I appreciated it because it took the script or the film to a different level. So I thought that was really smart filmmaking.
Yeah, I really liked that. And I like that it is this likened to where the characters are being called out there. So through electronics and through electromagnetic aspects, right? They hear the signal, they feel the vibration of them being called to go do what they need to do. And that's so true in nature. So she's studying these fish that are migratory, or animals that, we know half the year they're one place and half the year they're in another. And sometimes we don't know why. We don't know why they go there or what they do. And it was the same thing. So I thought that was really cool, that dichotomy between those things.
No, I agree. I thought that was good. Some good duality there. And I also really enjoyed his father being kind of the his monster in his head. So you'd hear the radio go off, and then you start wondering, is the radio really going off, or is it just in his mind?
Right.
Is this guy losing his head? Is it a parasite? Because we had that supporting character early on who was a ringer, which I love that. We'll have to talk about that. But I like the fact that he kept seeing his dad, right? Yeah. He kept seeing his dad, and his dad is calling him to do things in a really creepy way. And that actor had such a haunting look about him.
I know.
I was like, my God. Yeah. So it was awesome to really kind of personalize that, to make it feel like, the monster is within. What am I trying to do? And seeing him fight, dragging his niece or the girl on the road or whatever out towards the ocean as he's getting worse and worse and losing control. I thought it was really good.
It was interesting too, because the father's character in the beginning, as time goes on, and then he does go missing, and they're like, he was having problems with memory. Maybe he had dementia. His health was failing. And when you go back and you watch the performance of that actor, he really does do a good job of showing that level of confusion where he thinks this is what's really happening to me.
Yeah.
And you can see that sense on his face. And then, our central character later on, the son, it's more of a madness. He's angry. So it's an angry madness. So it manifests on the outside of them the way they're really feeling on the inside.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool.
No, I thought it was cool. It was good choices by the actors. And they both kind of cock their head and drop their jaw as they're going into that kind of mindless mode, which I thought was interesting.
Right.
So there's probably coordination there. But I really enjoyed his friend who was the conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
And this is why I liked how they did this, because in these films, you always find the conspiracy theorist who is, just exposition. And let me explain to you what's really happening. And then the audience gets caught up.
Right.
It gets us going in the direction and it kind of picks up the pace. But here, I love the twist is that he's just a crazy fringe dude and has nothing to do with the plot. And it's completely wrong. He's a chemtrail, whatever guy.
X-Files kind of guy.
X-Files kind of guy finding conspiracies where there are none. So he's like dead wrong. And I love that. And I love that twist there because that's what you want to do. You want to lead an audience towards what their comfort and expectations are of a film and then take it away. Yeah, because at some point you feel like, okay, he's the ally here. So he's going to help explain. He's going to help fix it. And instead, this character just walks away and goes, he's a nutbag. Like, and just, that's it. And he's just like, I'm not going to believe any of this. It's funny. It was great. Yeah. I really liked it. Yeah. And he was good. Good performance by that guy. It was good. It was necessary comedy relief, which is good because we need it because this is a heavy film. So it was good. It brings that in. The actor was great. And I just like the fact that, it didn't matter. And then again, more twists where she goes to the guy in the woods and then realizes, that it's the aliens and that he was targeted and he's hiding. And I really like that. So you find the ally in an unexpected way. And so if you're out there, you're doing a low budget thriller and you want to see a good way to work within your budget and to break expectations, I think the Block Island Sound is a good template. Oh, for sure. That a writer could use. Yeah, because I didn't even see that. I mean, in a way, when the doctor's like, hey, I've seen this kind of condition. This is where you live. They put this new wind farm there, and then they're like, oh, okay, now they're going to explain it that way. But then when you get to this guy, he's like, no, that's not. That's what they're saying, but that's not what it is. It was really good. It was like, oh, okay, now it was great. No, I really enjoyed it, and that guy's a good actor. I think he's been in a few other things I've seen him in. He always has like a powerful approach to the way he delivers a line, and so you're like, whoa, okay, is he gonna hurt her? Is he not gonna hurt her? You don't know what's gonna happen, and I love when a scene puts you on edge like that. Yeah, and that's what a lot of this film does. Is it doesn't give you time to really lull about and get bored. Like you want to know what's going on. Mm-hmm. Yep. It always, there's always this sense of, like you're even just along the ride, like for the ride with this character where he wakes up and he goes, I don't know why I'm losing time. We're like, we don't either. What's going on with you? Like we're all kind of on that journey together. Yeah. But there's a sense of urgency there of trying to figure out, because we all know where it's going. Right. Because the dad wakes up, first opening scene, wakes up in the boat around some dead fish. You go, that's weird. And then he pulls a dog collar. Yes. Water. And you're going, yeah, that's not right. Yeah. Then you're watching this character slowly do the same thing. So it's food and then animals and what's next? Well, it has to be a human because the grocery mart scene was crazy where he's filling up taking all the meat with all the ham. Yeah. All the meat. I want all of it. I need all of it. I'll take all of it, please. That's crazy. All of it. Yeah, no, it was really good. I quite enjoyed it. So what are you thinking? I guess, what are your final thoughts on this film? Again, like you said, I feel like this is a great kind of template to, if you're looking to create a sense of, from the start, your audience is just on edge. And the whole time, they're not necessarily over scared, but you're just carrying them through this just anxiety-filled tension the whole time. I thought this was really good because from the beginning, that uncomfortability was there for me. Yeah. And it carries through for me. And I love films like that just keep me on edge the whole time. It never really lulled for me. And I really appreciated that. No, I agree. I mean, Hitchcock talks about it's the walking down the hallway towards the monster, which is the part that gets you. It's not getting past the door and finding the monster. It's the anticipation. Yes. And I think that's what this is it builds upon the anticipation and then throws in enough twists and turns to keep you going. Because if it didn't have those twists, if it didn't have those surprises, I could see this as being a film that you're watching and the next thing you know, you're on your cell phone, but or smartphone. Sorry. But what are you thinking for next week? I don't know. You pick, because I picked this one. Well, I think you told me you wanted to watch Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, right?
I'm totally fine with doing that. I'm so game for it. It's going to be fun.
All right. Well, we can definitely do Army of the Dead. I know it's everywhere and everybody's got reviews on it, but we're not going to review it. We're going to analyze it. We're going to check it out and hopefully bring a new angle to these things. I also wanted to mention that this episode is brought to you by the Script Summit Screenplay Contest, where you can win a cash prize or the chance to have a contract with a Hollywood talent manager. Well, this was a lot of fun. I think this was a good choice. We'll do Army of the Dead next week. And then Kristy and I are also talking about starting a account, like a little prize giveaway next month, aren't we?
Yeah. So more details to come, but I think that I think it'll be fun to maybe give out some prizes during these.
I think that could be a lot of fun. So we will set that up probably the first week of June. All right. Well, thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share in your social media where you can tag us at The Successful Screenwriter.